What's up, Techtonians? I am going to go behind the scenes of my Grand Alliance guest mix. I've been getting some pretty positive feedback, and this is a process that I've kind of been honing in and perfecting over the years, and it feels really great to have it be showcased on Grand Alliance Music record label. Those guys are doing some awesome things. Make sure you check them out. I'll link them down below. So, without further ado, let's jump in. All right, so just to give you a quick overview of the set, I literally just drag the tracks in linearly into Ableton. This gives me the full overview of the set, helps me time it out, and I also color code. Red is I'm DJing someone else's track, green's an original, and then orange is a remix, and that just kind of gives me a kind of a general idea of the balance. Usually I try and shoot for at least at a minimum and pretty even balance of originals, remixes, and then also other people's tracks. And if I'm playing someone else's track, I will usually try very hard to do some sort of edit with it to make sure that it has my own flair to it. So you can also tell that some of these tracks are grouped. Any track that is grouped means that it's an edit. So I'm adding vocals, or I'm playing saxophone. I think one track down here, I literally just dragged Serum in and did an arpeggiator to help this transition kind of go a little smoother. So anything in here's another melody, and then I think acapella down here, yeah. So that's kind of the overall general theme of what's going on. If you look at the tempo down here, all the tracks are warped. Well, that's a mistake, but whoops, here we go. All the tracks are warped. During the transitions, and then unwarped if the song is just playing out. This lets the audio quality stay as clean as possible. So there's the part, here's the transition here, just keep that warped there. That gives you nice audio quality. In terms of the edits, we find one with vocals on it here. Okay, this is an older track I did with my old project, but I like to bring it back. So I have this, I'll just play you just a section of this real quick. I'm also trying to choose, I love hip hop and rap. It's probably my second favorite genre outside of electronic music. And I think that it does a really good job, of just being something interesting to listen to, on top of the instrumental of bass music, but also it helps tell a story. And I really, really, really shoot for storytelling in this whole DJ set. Every set that I do, what story and what journey is the listener getting to take on? And so I really, really like this Quavo acapella here. I've used it in a couple other songs, but for this, I just have all these acapellas over in my my folder here, and I will sometimes even do these ones too. And so I'm just kind of taking chunks of them and slicing them up how I like it. I'm also using the warp method in Ableton to make sure that the consonants are lining up with the beat and make sure that it flows right. I like doing little things like this too, where I'll drop put another track in and just kind of like lead in the next section. Just kind of give it like, so it's not just a straight acapella playing, but it's kind of chopped up a little bit. In terms of mixing all of these things together, I do some things to the acapellas to make sure that the original track still hits nice, that the acapella is clear and you can hear the words. So here, I think I just, okay, yeah. I start out with nectar, and I will usually at least quintuple to septuple the voices. So yeah, you can see here, I make it so that this is just another voice, and this is the stereo field. So this, for example, this voice is pan 91% to the right, and with a little bit of delay here just to help with some phase cancellation issues that might come in. Nectar is really good. I don't really ever have phase cancellation issues when I'm doing multiple voices here. Let's check the EQs here. Just a little EQ cleanup. Here we go. So this is where I think FabFilter Pro Q really comes in handy for something like this. I'm going to actually sidechain the original track and create an EQ match. You can see it's kind of a weird little shape here, but what you do is I go down into the analyzer. Actually, why don't I just do this right now really fast? I'll do a new one here. So I'm going to set the side chain. It's going to read the input from the original track. And then we're going to go to the analyzer EQ match, and we're going to reference the side chain here. And let's do this real quick. So you can hear that it sounds terrible right now. What it's doing is, I mean, this is a track with a lot of low mid. This original track right here has a lot of low mid bass sounds, so it's kind of cutting all that out. Obviously, I'll do it all the way. It's kind of a mess. So what I'll do is just turn the gain scale down to like something like this. And obviously that's horrible. So I just make another cut right here. And this is a little different EQ curve than the other one, but it's kind of a similar, I probably did even, yeah, not quite as dramatic, but yeah, and so what this is doing, this is creating peaks and troughs that relate to the other track, and you can get some, it just helps it kind of fit in like a little bit of a puzzle. And then I have some reverb on this too. I'm sure I should have, if I didn't do it, I don't have any compression on this. Well, I made a mistake. Oh well. I should have ran a compressor on this also. In the original track here, the other thing that I would probably do here is I'm going to use Soothe 2 in sidechain mode as well. And I'm going to do the sidechain it to the other acapellas. Let's see, where is this? To the acapella here, and then this is going to cut out the frequencies of the acapella out of this original track. And like I had already mixed it before, so it's sitting pretty nicely, but this is the vocal right here. And Soothe 2 is just a really, really great tool for something like this. So it's actually cutting out the very specific vocal frequencies, and it's responding to them as they move. It's not just like making a broad cut where the vocals kind of sit, which is how I used to do it, but then you're missing important information in the original track. So this is just a really nice way to get your acapellas to sit in your mix nicely, and then they just literally kind of like shine and sparkle. I'm probably also, if I was doing this right, yep, I'm also running a de-esser here in Nectar, just to get rid of some of the sibilants, and that's how I do acapellas. Also in here, if you look up, I have some saxophone parts. I just like made the set and then went back in with my sax mic and did like a recording of the sax parts, just like you would hear in an actual live set of mine. And so I'm using Melodyne to make sure that the saxophone is tuned and on the grid so that it sounds professional. Some saturation. I love this soft tube saturator. It's so warm and nice, really good for saxophone. Just gives it that little bit of cut, some compression. Yeah, I clipped this sax here just to make sure there's no peaks. And then all of these edits, anything that I'm editing, I'm putting into a group, because although this mix was for SoundCloud, all of these edits, I am going to export them, anything that's edited, and put them into my record box so that I have all of these live edits, or all these edits of tracks. Like, so if I'm DJing a set and maybe I get asked to play something, I don't have time to prepare a set, or it's kind of like a late night thing where I'm just freestyling. I have anything I've made for a live set, I have available to me in a freestyle session, like on CDJs. So the next time I want to play this track, I'll have like 3 or 4 versions of this track with whatever edits I've done with it, and I can kind of pick and choose. It just makes your freestyle sets a little more unique as well. You're not just ripping off song after song after song. For this synth part here, I really liked how this turned out. Arpeggiator there. Really the second purpose of anytime I'm doing like a synth part or an acapella, it's also, I'll almost always have them go over the transitions of the songs so that your ear almost doesn't even notice the next song is coming in yet. And you can hear that in this transition right here. It just really helps. It's basically like 3 things happening at separate times, and it just helps the set move along. In this set, I did do a couple hard stops because there were some songs I really wanted to play. In a live setting, I would probably do less hard stops. I think I did like 3 hard stops in here. But for a SoundCloud mix, that's fine. Once you have the whole set down, oh, real quick too, notice how some of these songs I'm like cutting them up. So this is a really good way to make sure that your tracks like seamlessly flow together. Like, don't be afraid to, like, I think I took this part, the outro isn't the actual outro of the song. I use like a random section from the song I liked to do the transition. So think of these songs as like puzzle pieces, and you can chop and mix them up just like you would on decks if you were using like hotkeys. On the master, I just did some clipping just to make sure there's no peaks, and then I use Soothe 2 here after the clipper to just kind of ease on any harmonics that were added from the clipping. One more clip to shave it off, and then I just throw a limiter on at the end. And that has led me with pretty good results. If you have a better idea of how to master a DJ mix like this, I'm all ears. This worked really well for this one. But yeah, I also turned down the master, gave it like 0.3 dB of headroom just to avoid any artifacts that might be coming through on SoundCloud. Thanks for listening. If you liked what you saw, I'm going to be putting more of this on my YouTube. Like and subscribe to this, and I will talk to you soon.